Greetings and welcome to a Friday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is July 11th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing great. I'm getting ready to go for the major. I'm getting into that major mood. It's just always shocking that it's just after the 4th of July and it's our last major since the schedule changed. But here we are.
Yeah,
had some watched some coffee golf this morning. I had my coffee golf mug and my coffee golf shirt on, which was delightful.
You can go to the pro shop and get your own. The mug is sweet. Even PJ, young PJ's like, mug is sick. It's gas, or whatever terminology, young Z term you used. It is a good mug. He doesn't
drink coffee, though.
He doesn't drink coffee. You can put chocolate milk in it. My kids drink chocolate milk, eat ice cream out of mugs. You could do that.
Let me see how many are left. I don't think there are a ton left.
There are a lot left. You get Coffee Golf Blend. The blend I cooked up this morning, brewed this morning. Watch Scottish Open. It is available. ProShop.thefriday.com.
The mugs are sold out.
Really? So we're advertising or advocating for something that you can't get. I do think you can get a Royal Portrush shirt. I've got a few of those. The routing map, I'm showing it for the YouTube audience. I just got this box, came through. Pretty sick. That's a good
Did you
one.
see the poster?
The poster's awesome.
Yeah, I ordered one. I gotta upgrade my background here. Get a little less glary background.
I've got people over there have asked me to bring them a Portrush poster, and it's like I gotta figure out how to travel with that. I'm not sure I can do that, so we'll figure it out. Go to proshop.thefriday.com. It's loaded up right now. Scottish Open, it always like warms the cockles. Are you familiar with that phrase? Warms the cockles? Apparently it's like a British phrase. A friend of mine around here used it and like
seems a bit vulgar.
It's not. It's like warms the heart. I think that's all it means. A little Scottish Open in the morning, a cup of coffee. It just warms the cockles, as they say. Ball was scooting. It's just good. Just different visuals, right? A little gray sky, little tan heather, right? That brownish heather that's been dry over there.
That's not heather. That's just fescue grasses. I've been informed by many people who get very frustrated when you refer to it as heather on an annual basis here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the heather looks good this week.
I'm finally speaking out. I've ignored it for years. I've told them that, but I'm going to speak out. It's just fescue.
Fescue, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, it's not the heather.
I think their frustration comes from Americans just butchering terms across the pond. They bring them to America, and any long grass is called heather.
Well, that's precisely what it connotes. Yeah, and the terminology that's how it's stuck at this point, and how it will continue.
I think they're probably similar frustrations around how we call any golf course without trees a links course.
Any ball that goes into grass that is, I would say, above the shin is called heather around here. No. There's a lot of that.
Don't live and die on this hill.
I'm not living and dying. I'm suggesting what the facts on the ground are over here in America for a lot of people.
I think you need to call it native.
The fescue.
Native's the safe, all-encompassing term.
It's interesting. I'm starting to wonder what we just celebrated July 4th, so we could call it whatever we want to call it, I feel like, at this point, right? No,
we had our own Independence Day on July 4th as a company.
What do you mean?
We got out from under the DMCA strike from across the pond. It was our own Independence Day.
All right. Needless to say, I'm excited to go see our friends from the United Kingdom, Ireland, Great Britain, and all those fine folks on the islands over there this coming weekend. Excited to get over there, see the fescue, the native, the heather, and whatever fauna and flora might await us. It's just good. It's great to see the ball scooting a little bit on the ground. Xander Schauffele like playing one from the fescue. For an eagle. Scotty Scheffler opening with an eagle. Foxy on that seaside hole, I believe 13, just ripping a draw in there. The ball just running on the ground a little bit more. It's fun to see. Warms the cockles, as we say. So,
I got to say, our guy Nico Echevarria at the top. Nico Minute. I guess not our guy. I think I just was 1 week early with him at the Deer.
Well, timing's important in the gambling pod game. It matters. To be on time and
that's
on
a
target.
classic. It's a classic gambler thing. Should I be just on Twitter tweeting 1 week early, 1 week early, just all year, 1 week early? Is that what I should be doing, PJ?
Yeah.
Since we are a gambling pod?
We are a gambling pod. We're a gambling TV show. I mean, if anybody's watching yesterday and got the hometown Josh Teeter call out.
Teeter-totter in Kentucky. He's up and down. He's down. He's under par again at the ISCO.
Might not be able to pick the Scottish, but damn if we can pick an alternate field event.
Big news, Peach. Big news just came across my desk.
Oh, boy.
PCA 414-foot bomb.
It's like every time we record.
I can't imagine the amount of PCA discussion that has come to this podcast is sort of alarming, more so than even Illinois basketball.
There's PCA mania.
All right.
PCA mania is sweeping the country.
All right.
Is it?
Yeah. I got an email. I got an email from a friend of the pod in Minneapolis. That was like the Twin Cities are electric because PCA mania is coming to town.
The Twins are a good baseball team. I would be rooting for the Twins if I lived in the Twin Cities, but that's okay.
I gotta say you could call me a fair weather fan. I think I am a fair weather fan here, but I'm having a good baseball team is like intoxicating.
It's the best situation ever. It's just always there for you at night, like 7:00, right? You don't have anything else. Like you can watch, you can check on your phone. It's just the daily ritual of having a good baseball team in June, July, August. It's just the best. It's the best.
There's so many similarities with golf, with baseball, in the sense of like how you can consume the sport kind of passively. Like you can watch without like really being locked in, or you can lock in and when you lock in it's really fun, but like you can also do kind of it's on in the background watch because there's so many games. Like it's also one of the things that's like frustrating with those sports, and I think like leaves people wanting more sometimes. But I think God, it's been a while since I've felt like good about a Cubs baseball team, and it's just been so fun getting into it.
When the team's good. When it's bad, I feel like but you can just kind of check out, right? You don't have to do the daily ritual. It's like, all right, I guess I'll see you next April. I don't know. Unless you're a diehard, I feel bad for those folks. Like PJ, I feel like is grinding out every Mets game, whether they're going to win 95 games or 75.
Mets got rained out last night in Baltimore, and it like ruined my whole day. I was so excited.
This is what we're talking about.
To just get home and have something to do, and I was sitting there staring at the ceiling last night at 6:45 because there was nothing on TV.
That's when you got to get into the book game. That's the other thing that this time of year is really good for is books.
Do you read books, PJ?
I do read books. I need to read more books. I feel like everybody says that. I don't read enough books, but I like books.
Okay, that's good. Hey, good to like books.
BP, you got your coffee golf box today.
I did.
PJ, did you get your coffee golf? Did it come with a trading card?
Ooh, I haven't looked actually.
I don't know if it did.
I got one.
You got one?
All right,
I made
double check.
Friday Golf Club purchase last week. Purchased my own money. I'm wearing the Del Campo socks. Those are very nice. Very nice. They look like
you were talking up the
socks.
Del Campo socks.
Youth. Yeah. I've been wearing them like 4 times in the last week. Well, that's all I took in Cleveland. I got stranded, so I had like 24 hours worth of clothes. I just kept washing them. I got Bob Brew, who I'd never heard of in that package, if I'm being completely honest. And in this one,
who?
Brew, Brue.
Okay.
Never. He looked like he did some work on the senior tour.
For those that haven't ever made a purchase, when we have them in stock, we put a single trading card, from the
usually
I'd say the 90s,
80s, 90s.
You just get a random 90s, late 80s golfer trading card in your purchase. So I'm always interested in what I get.
Here's what I got from my coffee golf purchase. One of your favorites, the former amateur winner at Canterbury Golf Club, Masters champion, British Open, great Hall of Famer, Mr. Mark O'Meara, Mom, M-O-M. I got him in my coffee golf package. He's great.
The man that the solid core ball elevated to a whole new stratosphere.
You're going to work people up. You've gone at O'Meara, tried to delegitimize his career many times on this podcast. And
you know who I got?
You get angry emails. Who'd you get?
Mark Brooks.
Oh, 2 marks. That's a great
I was going to read off some stuff about Mark Brooks here.
Red-ass Texan.
Texan. He was born in Fort Worth. How you're kind of like you like to get into the size of the player.
That's not
Can you
true.
guess Mark Brooks's measurables?
5'7", 5'8", 160.
God, that was so close. 5'7", 150.
All right, close.
Went to UT.
Close.
He was first year on tours in 1983. This is all just information on the trading card.
Yeah.
Tour victories at the current time of this trading card. I think it was 1991. This set of trading cards went out.
Yep.
1988, Cannon, Sammy Davis Jr., Greater Hartford Open. So the Travelers, the modern day Travelers, won that. He was 45th on the 1990 official money list. PJ, I want you to guess what his money total was, being 45 on the 1990.
45?
Yeah, 45.
Like $200,000.
It was $308,000.
Okay.
Incredible.
Here's his highlights. After a slow 4-year start on tour, made it over the hump in 1988 with a victory at the 1988 Cannon Sammy Davis Jr. Who's Sammy Davis Jr. is one question I have. Greater Hartford Open.
Wait. Wait.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
Who's Frank Sinatra? Are you familiar with him?
Wait, that's a musician.
Yes.
I would have guessed he was a musician.
Yes. Okay. Oh, he's everything. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, he does a little bit of everything. Sure.
All
right. A 2-time All-American at the University of Texas, lost a playoff in 1988 at the Gatlin Brothers Southwest Classic. I want to know who the Gatlin brothers were.
Okay. Yeah.
Question I have. Continued his steady play in 1990 with 5 top 10 finishes, including 2 third-place spots. All right. He was 153 on the driving distance stats in 90. What's he hitting? Where's he moving the ball? Peach?
123rd?
153rd. 153rd. So
in 1990?
Yeah.
I got to guess. You go, PJ.
Like 230?
More than that, but not much. 242, I'll guess.
257.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's more than I expected. Okay.
He's hitting 68% of his fairways, driving at 257.
Okay.
Sponsored by Hogan at the time of this trading card. Also, the picture on the front, this is speaking of like something that's changed for the YouTube audience. You can see this. Look at this picture on the front. I don't see a brand in sight.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Clean shirt, no hat.
Yep. Love that. O'Meara's got his Toyota visor on, which Bob Brew is a Toyota guy too.
I mean, that card could have some value in 1991 because he won twice in 1991. He had only won one time at the time of this card. He ended up with 7 wins. So it's Mark Brooks could have been projected to stardom because of this card.
You want a little Brooks tangent scuttlebutt? Little unsubstantiated rumors tied into Mark Brooks?
Real quick before we pivot off. All right, so he was number 45 on the money list.
Yeah.
What was number 45 on the money list last year? What did they make?
Oh my God.
45 on the money list last year probably made 4.9 million.
I was even going to say higher. I was going to guess like 5.5.
2.8. It was and the reason he made 2.8 was because he got outstanding guidance, support, advice from Matt Kuchar, who's Max Grazerman at 45 on the money list.
Good. Love that. You know,
Brooks, all right, tangent time.
Mark Brooks is an annual attendee of that PGA Champions dinner on Tuesday as a former champion. That's so sparsely attended, but like, you know, he's going to go, right? Brooks, that's his crowning achievement. He's going to go.
That's all expenses paid.
It's not. Oh, I've heard this is sort of the scuttlebutt is that, like, you know, the Masters, it's like pick what you want. The winner usually picks up the tab. Apparently, like, you got to cover your costs for that dinner if you're a champion. And it's attended by just this cavalcade of PGA like dignitaries and their wives. So then you got to put up with them. You got to put up with Don Raya and those people of like that. Apparently, the Champions Dinner, it costs money, and you got to put up with like 40 or 50 some PGA people just nipping at your heels about this, that, and the other. Which I wouldn't show up. Which is why like people don't. It's like half semi-attended.
I could just see Brooksy there, and then, you know, just out of nowhere.
Can I follow up just a little bit?
Unsubstantiated, but just a rumor I heard. But Mark Brooks never misses one. All right, this is a good tangent to lead off. Card time. I'm glad we got into that. Adding to our schedule for the week from Wednesday, I'm just gonna spotlight LIV Valderrama. I have a little bit of a flashback comment on this. I don't have a whole lot to preview with LIV. The big talking point there this week are Pat Reed, Ryder Cupper, and Sergio Ryder Cupper. That was the big news coming out as we record this Thursday afternoon. Sergio had a lunch, a chat with Luke Donald, captain, last week, or was it this week? I think it was last week, he said. You know, they both know what needs to happen, what they need to do. The door is not closed. I did enjoy the sort of the rabble-rousing questioner there in Spain said, so it's all in your hands then, Sergio. He goes, well, it's your decision. He goes, well, no, it's his decision, but, you know, I can control a little bit by how I go and play. And, you know, there's not a lot of opportunity. He says it's early. I don't know that it's early. Not a lot of chances to do it, you know?
Is it early?
That's what he says, it's still early. I mean,
feels like we're like quarter 4 of the game.
Yeah.
Early, I would say, is like, you know, it was fall of the year before.
Yeah.
Every 2 years. So, you know, when you're like a month out from selections, that would probably be pretty late in the game, right?
Yeah. I mean, he goes ham at that LIV, you know, Michigan, whatever that thing is, the Cardinal, St. John's or whatever that is in Michigan. Is that like going to be a winning argument? I don't know. There's not a lot of tournaments left on LIV or otherwise.
You ready for his LIV results? You want to know?
Please.
You want to know what
He's been bad since Miami. I know that. He's been struggling, I think.
In Saudi Arabia, 6th, Adelaide 18th, wins Hong Kong. Singapore 32nd. Now keep in mind with this, there's 54 guys.
Yep.
58 maybe. How many in a field?
56, I think now.
56.
A couple wild cards. Yeah.
3rd place at Miami. 50th at Mexico City at Chapultepec. You know, that's kind of the opposite of Bethpage. Korea 42nd, Virginia 38th, Dallas 25th.
He was decent at the PGA, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. It's interesting. So yeah, he's got to do some work. He's got to do well. I just got a marketing email from the PGA Tour for decorators, like telling me what to do to lay down my new deck. The tour is just hammering me with emails now.
Well, that's they got to increase. This is the private equity effect.
Yeah, that's true. A diametrically opposed view to it's early would be Patrick Reed. Says, you know, basically it all comes down to next week at the Open. So that's not early. It's one shot and done. This is how he feels. Obviously play well here, Valderrama, but go ahead and win the Open Championship. And I believe I'd be inside the top 6 on points. So I think that will lock it in, allow me to be on the team. Really, the next couple of weeks, I have to play some solid golf, go out and contend on Sundays, have a chance to win golf tournaments. And if I do that, then hopefully Keegan picks me. But at the end of the day, because we only get the majors that have points for the Ryder Cup, it's an uphill battle. the good thing is I feel like I'm in a good spot right now as long as I go out and play well in the final major. So Pat Reed, your recent winner of the individual contest at Merido, putting it all on the line for next week at the Open. He'd be a good option. He needs to be on the Ryder Cup team. I need him there.
I just did a pod. I think,
you did do this. Yeah,
I did a pod. All right. If we look at the U.S. team, it feels like we're pretty locked. I think there's 2 spots on the U.S. team left in all reality. This is like classic. What's the end of the bench look like?
Mm-hmm.
You got Scotty, Xander, JJ, Spawn, Russell Henley, Bryson, JT, Morikawa, Keegan locked in. That'd be 8 of the top 9 in points.
Yeah.
And then I think you got playoff P, Cantlay, and Sam Burns. I think those guys are probably pretty much locks.
Yeah.
So that gets you to 10.
Yeah.
So there's 2 spots, and you start to think like Ben Griffin, probably close to a lock.
I mean, he's going to finish in like 7th, 8th, 9th in points, so which in many years would make you an AQ auto qualifier. So I don't know if he's a lock. I don't know. Is Burns a lock? We don't need to get into a big Ryder Cup debate, but yeah, you're looking at like 1 or 2 spots.
Oh, buddy ball.
I know.
I
would like to see Patrick Reed.
When the sheriff wants his deputy around, that's what happens.
My dream of Phil Mickelson being assistant captain apparently is dead. We went with Gary Woodland, 0-time Ryder Cupper instead. So that's your LIV Valderrama. We'll follow this throughout the weekend. I don't know if it's the best prep for going to Royal Portrush, playing Valderrama amidst the cork trees, but that's where they're at. They're across the pond. They're at least in the right hemisphere and time zone. All right, continuing on. Charlie Hall news. Charlie Hall WD'd from Evian. Looks like she has a stomach bug or something, but she's essentially carted off, stretchered off, collapsed a little bit. So that's bummer to see one of the kind of superstars in the LPGA out of that major championship. At the Genesis, we mentioned Echevarria. It's an interesting leaderboard. Knapp, Sepp Straka. I mean, it looks like a leaderboard that would be going crazy at the Amex, if I'm being honest, right? Or Deer Run or something. But that's where we're at so far. Season's back.
Knapp was getting into the Lynx season.
That's true.
He was
played with his dad at North Barrack. There was a big article on that. Marcel Siem, right back in the mix. You got to see him.
He's getting warmed up.
He's coming.
You guys you're not, Brendan, you're not going to be, at the watching the world feed at 3 a.m. when the Siem hour hits.
Should I go remember the old Tiger Tracker Twitter account? Should I go out there and just follow
Is he in
Siem?
the field?
I don't know that he is. I think he would have had to qualify. I don't think he is. But that's why he's got to go win the Scottish this week.
The Seamsters.
He's right there. The Seamsters. He's right there. In Kentucky, my old Kentucky home, I got to say, I feel bad for Brandon Wu. Shot 85, okay? Shot 85. I think he was 12 over through 15. The guy, he just gets completely jammed. He gets paired with Richard Sterney and Ryan Brem. This guy, this is someone who's trying to be
jamming.
Because it's just not.
Dick Sterney's a worldwide player. You'd be honored to play with such a sportsman, someone with such vast experience.
I blame that pairing for why he shot 85. Every single stroke, he is just playing like with. It's just not good for someone that's trying to build a career. But he's with Dick Sterney out early. Ryan Brem. I feel bad for Brandon Wu shooting 85.
Don't feel bad about him.
My Angel Ayora pick also performing quite well with the 66 at Hurstbourne Country Club down there in Kentucky.
It's early. God, I was looking at Thomas Rosenmuller as a potential guy. Just a random Euro that's over there from Germany.
I think he's actually up through the KFT, or I think he's an American-based guy. He's like he's a
Jaeger-like German.
Yes, I believe so, but don't quote me on that one. There's been a parade of WDs. I don't know what's going on there. Anders Albertson, your guy, McGirt got in. Dirt McGirt got in off of that. Bob Streb then WD, then Sun Kane WD. I don't know what's going on. People just never made the trip and aren't going, but we're having the WD parade down there at the ISCO. Champions Tour, PJ, you're edifying us. That's something. John Rollins is apparently the
John
superstar.
Rollins turned 50 on June 25th, and this is
taking off the blue shirt.
His first event. He gave an interview to Champions Tour Instagram, Twitter pages, had an interview with them. He's talking about, so he's been looking forward to this day this week since he was 40. Because he was on
10 years ago?
He was on conditional status, like past champion status, so he only got a certain amount of starts a year at 40, so he wasn't really playing. He's kind of just been putzing around for the last decade. He said now the birthdays can slow down because he's 50. He's got something to do. He hasn't been a rookie in 25 years, but he's excited to see all of his friends. But wants his Champs Tour career to be pretty long. Apparently, was the runner-up at the BC Open in 2005 at Enjoy, won the 2006 BC Open. That was not at Enjoy, but was still in the Binghamton area. So home game models could be off the charts this week. Some course history for John Rollins. That's what I have for Champions Tour Minute today.
Right.
People are excited about John Rollins.
John Rollins. I vividly remember, I feel like it might have been like 2005, 2006. You remember, I think it was Golf World used to do like the top 30 PGA Tour players for like the next year.
Mm-hmm.
It was like early, and I remember John Rollins being like number 29. Whenever I think about John Rollins, I think about reading that magazine.
I loved that magazine. I would flip the weekly and just rip
great.
through cover to cover, just keep you in the loop. That was a good era.
That was back, yeah.
It's a good
don't
era.
get that a ton anymore.
Don't get that kind of quality anymore. Last but not least, Andy, if I were to suggest to you, what could be the worst possible prep for an Open Championship? Worst possible, like the week to play. Like, what would you throw out there? Because I have a nominee from across the pond. There are 4 Challenge Tour players playing the D&D Real Czech Challenge that are also playing Royal Portrush. And this comes from a caddy over there who's in the field. He says, you could not find a worse preparation, a worse gap for an Open Championship prep. It is on a mountain. It is soft. It's a complete wedge fest, and there's zero trouble from off the tee. You had 4 players, and this is what you do, I suppose, when you're on the Challenge Tour. John Axelson, Jesper Sandborg, Curtis Knipes, and George Bloor. So I don't know if they're necessarily in the running for the Clare Jog, but anybody can get it. This is what you do when you're the Challenge Tour. I just found that highly amusing. You can't pick and choose, but there they are outside of Prague on the side of a mountain in soft conditions prepping for Royal Portrush. I can't think of many worse. I'm sure, like the Deer is always an odd one, right? When that was back to back and they take the charter straight from the Deer to the Open, that was like not ideal. But it maybe these guys are good enough to overcome it. That amused me though.
I think you could get worse. Like I think you could be playing in like India, and you have like the jet lag
time
plus like a mountain course. And like, or like maybe you go to like Malaysia, which like my representation, my memory, and I if I'm mischaracterizing Malaysia this time of year, my characterization is always based off the CIMB, which was Justin Thomas's happy hunting ground. Like I just vividly remember watching just like it being like 95, humid and raining. Like to me, that would be the worst.
Yeah,
because then you have jet lag. You've got like a golf course that's just sopping wet.
Yep.
That would be the worst way to prep in my estimation.
That would be up there. Our entire cultural understanding of Malaysia is via the Sim Classic, which is how broken our golf brains are, and that I would agree with you on that one.
That and John Rollins being the 2009 number 29 ranked player in golf world.
Yep. One thing to be well prepped for the Open would be a good belt, in my opinion.
That's
you want to make
right.
sure your pants stay up, your +4s, whatever it is you might wear over there in Scotland, Northern Ireland, England as it is. You want to have a good belt to keep those pants around your waist, but also look good, look stylish, high quality. And you can procure one of those at Mobjack. Our good friends, our belt makers, fine artisans, craftsmen, American made at MOBJAK. There's no C in there. .com. MOBJAK.com. Seems like the audience is running to get themselves some belts. They're sending us some more belts. We're very excited. They couldn't send me. We were asked to like pick out a belt, and like sometimes it's like I don't know. It's just whatever. Pick this one. I'd wear them all. Like they're all like that's no BS for the ad read. They're excellent designs. And you don't get jammed wearing a logo, maybe of a club you don't belong to or something. It's just a solid, steady rotation. You can get 15% off if you use the promo code FRIEDEGG, no spaces, all caps at Mobjack, MOBJAK. It's a family-run company inspired by the Americans' spirit. Leather is super soft and supple with a matte finish. They got a ton of good designs, named after different sort of American vacation enclaves. Kennebunkport, Palm Beach, Carmel, I believe is they're
Southampton.
All good. They're all good. I couldn't pick which one to take off.
My wife, Mrs. Friday, picked mine out.
What'd she go with?
I sent it over to her. She said she went with the Southampton.
Yep, I've got one.
That's one I don't have.
That's
I'm very excited. I legit no joke wear these. Like they gave me like 2 really different ones. I wear these all the time now with jeans, like with golf attire, immediately into the rotation.
This was a great partner. I'm glad they found us. Go to mobjack.com, MOBJAK.com. Promo code is Friday, 15% off. Hey, let's do a little Flashback Friday. This is a blind stroke of luck that it hits on all the subjects of the day. So the Scottish Open, we're going to talk about one of the great Scots ever. Maybe the greatest Scottish player ever. Colin Montgomerie, the custard
Monty?
boy. Colin Montgomerie. We're going to talk about the European Tour and how it, struggled to keep up with the PGA Tour. And that'll bring in elements of what we have this week with the co-sanction. We're going to go to Valderrama, home of the LIV event this week. And that's it. We're going to talk about a Scot, LIV Tour, Valderrama home, and sort of the co-sanctioned, the precursor of the co-sanctioned era. We're going to the 2002 Volvo Masters at Valderrama, which it's going to be a mini flashback. It was, do you know who won this? The 2002 Volvo Masters at Valderrama. This is their season-ending event in November.
I'm gonna guess Monty.
Monty won it, but also Bernhard won it. They shared the title.
A co-title?
They shared it, a tie. In 2002, this is not 1902, 2002, they just said, good, and walked off with the season-ending event championship. They tied. They said,
sounds
we'll
like
share
sportsmen at work.
Kenny Schofield, the former, director of the European Tour, sort of set it up. I'll read from, this is an Irish Times article. The world can start spinning again and the golfing gods can stop mocking. In quite unreal circumstances and with darkness enveloping the course to confirm that night does indeed follow day, the natural order of things was restored at Valderrama last evening. After 2 playoff holes failed to find an outright winner, Colin Montgomerie, extending a record going back to 1993, this was 2002 at the time, going back to 93 of having won at least one tournament a season on the European Tour, and Bernhard called a truce and were declared joint winners of the Volvo Masters. It was a gesture that ensured there were winners all around. As the two shook hands on the 18th tee under the branches of one of the cork oak trees that are everywhere on this course, it brought down the curtain on the European Tour season. Montgomerie and Lanner, given both of it was both their first wins of the year, called it a highly appropriate resolution and outcome. They had won that year.
This is bullshit that they gave them both wins.
This is, and they claim it. They claim it right true all the way through. Yes.
You know what I think's underrated that should be brought back more often? Scorecard playoffs. This would have been, it seems like a perfect spot for a scorecard playoff.
Interesting. So they both said it was highly appropriate. It keeps Monty's streak of a win a year going back to 93. This had happened before. It had happened before in 1986 at the Lancome Trophy event. And it was shared by, who do you think? 1986. Lancome
1986.
Trophy.
Savvy
and Bernhard Lahner.
Oh,
so
Lahner.
multiple shared titles for Bernhard Lahner.
This is tough. This is a tough situation.
Adding 2 to the total there on Wikipedia. So it was getting too dark, and obviously they just said, let's share it. Afterwards, Lahner said, I'll get into the details of it in a minute. I could not think of a better guy to share this with. And I do mean that. We've had a wonderful, they had just won the Ryder Cup. We had a wonderful Ryder Cup week where both of us were never down in any of the matches. I think it's very appropriate to win one of the greatest tournaments that we have on our tour together. Again, this was a big deal. Volvo Masters year-end event. Didn't settle the Order of Merit. Goosen won the Order of Merit to close out the season. This is from a New York Times article. It could have ended in a tie if Montgomerie had made a 7-foot putt for par on the final hole. So he missed a 7-footer for par on the final. And then a 10-foot birdie putt on the second playoff hole, which is where they're like, oh, shit. Now what? Because they played 2 playoff holes and that was it. An attempt to prolong the playoff for a third hole, they turned on floodlights around the 18th green, and lights of golf carts were turned on around the tee. But in truth, any further play was a hopeless dream, and when the futility of it all was recognized, the two agreed to share their title rather than return on Monday to continue the playoff. Each received 435,648 euros, and the promise that a replica Waterford Crystal Trophy would be made so that each would have one. So they both hold it jointly at the time and then made a second trophy for later.
Could you see like one of their kids asking about that trophy and them being like, well, that's actually the one that I shared.
435,000. Yeah. Monty chimed in. I mean, imagine this happening today, even like at the Deer last week. Like, all right, just 2 winners. We're good. Just 2 winners. We're not coming back. We're good. It seems so informal. Like, are you splitting the FedEx Cup points? This wasn't that long ago. 02. Monty, I haven't performed consistently well as I did for 7 years. So when he won the Order of Merit, like basically 93 to 99, 7 straight years, I've only performed okay in fits and starts. But I'm just glad that I've started to perform again. I'm really keen to go after some injuries through the year. I'm actually taking this as a complete win here.
Complete win.
This is fantastic. I think I'm 0 for 7. He was in playoffs. I think I've been 0 for 7, but we can add this one to the win column, which is a delight. So I'm taking a complete win here. Now I'm 1 for 7 in playoffs. He didn't win the playoff. He didn't lose it, but he's like, now I'm 1 and 7 instead of 0 and 7 in playoff.
7 and 1.
Yes, but no, he's staying. I'm 1 and 7. It's kind of insane. So why did darkness encroach? There were a lot of reasons, but one thing why they couldn't play one more hole was Monty had a little bit of a rules kerfuffle early in the day, which he had to review on tape before they could go out and play the playoff. So Lahner was 2 groups ahead of Monty, who was in the final group, I believe, past Bradley Dredge, who was referred to as, in every article I read, like a barely known, little known Welshman is what they kept calling Bradley Dredge. Lahner, playing 2 groups ahead, had waited in the recorder's hut to see how things would evolve after 72 holes, was able to briefly retreat to hit some shots in the range while the playoff was delayed because Montgomerie had to go view television tapes. So this incident happened on the 10th green, in which it was thought that Monty's putter touched the ball and would have been a 2-stroke penalty. That is, he had tapped the ball or brushed the ball. This happened at the 10th hole. TV pictures appear to show him accidentally touch the ball with his club while it was still moving. A 2-shot penalty. Montgomerie eventually carded 73 to tie with Bernhard and set up the playoff. After finishing the round, he met with chief referee John Paramore, who decided the TV images were inconclusive. Monty convinced officials that he had not acted illegally, and his shootout with Lahner commenced. So, I mean, this is like, it depends on which article you read, like the American or the wire services were a little more skeptical. The BBC was a little more lenient. They said the incident on the 10th green would have played on the minds of lesser men than Motgomerie. It's like, all right, okay. Like, come on. Because Paramore caught him on the 12th tee and said, we may have a thing. But it played on but no, Monty was like this hero that was able to, finish his round and get to a playoff after he was informed of the possible issue on the 12th tee by Paramore. His response was to birdie 3 of the next 5 holes and only a bogey on the last after he pushed his tee shot right, deprived of him of an outright win. So then they went to the tapes and reviewed it. On tape, the ball appeared to move. This is Monty speaking. The question was, had I addressed the ball or hadn't I? The answer was no. John is tough but fair, and he was right to inform me out on the course sooner rather than later. But I knew I hadn't made an infringement. So he, gets through that, gets done with that, but delays the playoff a little bit, and avoids the penalty to keep it going. They move back to the 18th tee, and so they're there, and they've got the cart lights on. They're shining on them, and Schofield says, like, why don't we just share this? And they immediately said, that's it. Let's do it. We're going to share it. There was no way we could continue, Lahner said. It was really getting ridiculous. There were 2 options: come back in the morning, which would have provided an anti-climax to this great championship. I mean, I would suggest deciding to share the trophy is also a little anticlimactic, but who am I? Or share the victory, as I did with Seve all those years ago. I think we both agreed it was the appropriate thing to do. Monty added, there was no way we could play. When Ken Schofield came on the radio with that suggestion, Bernhard very quickly took his hat off, and I took mine off, and we shook hands.
They were very quick to do it. They're both just ready for the time.
First win of the year. I agree that it was very appropriate that we did share this wonderful trophy. So they just went for it as soon as Ken Schofield came on the air and suggested it. And they both were loving it. I couldn't think of anyone better to share this with. He says, well, we can add this one to the win column. Wonderful, as he said.
We got to take this off both their win totals. Lead a campaign. Bernie Longer, 2 less wins as a professional.
I was going to say, Bernie loses 2.
With the Seve 86 Land Cup trophy.
Could add this to the Monty spotlight that we did.
This is good. I have a Monty current day update that I didn't know how I was going to work in here. He's at the Evian because his former Champions Tour caddies from Maya Stark now. So he's out at the Evian, and the LPGA had a wonderful little interview with Monty this morning. He's on the range. He's strutting around, posing for the camera, talking about how classy of an event the Evian is and how great it is to be out here, just pontificating.
Love it. So this is the Volvo Masters was a big deal. I mean, this was a big thing. It went to Valderrama. This was a whole era. Valderrama, by the way, and whatever we think of it, just its lineage is like insane at this point for amount of major golf, professional golf it's hosted. It's weird that it's sort of in the DNA of the Euro Tour, but obviously now it's a LIV event. First time the Ryder Cup ever was outside the United States or Great Britain was Valderrama. But now it hosts a LIV. That's fine. So this was the Volvo Masters, first weekend in November 2002. And Order of Merit, Retief Goosen clips Padraig Harrington. And so this was a big deal. Goosen won only once, but he won the Order of Merit. He earned $2.391 million. So $2,391,000 wins you the Order of Merit. 25K more than Padraig Harrington, who was, all miffed. He was like, I was trying to win the Order of Merit, not the tournament, and it threw me, cast me, put me in a fritz.
I wonder if anybody asked him then about how to get your kids into golf.
This is from a New York Times article by Christopher Clary, who was on site. A lot of talented golfers are working both sides of the Atlantic and elsewhere now. Goosen's total prize money on the European Tour, which was what we just said, 2.3, almost 2.4, still pales in comparison with the nearly $7 million Tiger Woods earned on his predictable way to the top of the PGA Tour money list. Well, I would say Tiger in 2002, like, regardless of what purses they're playing for, probably did better than Goosen. Like that, he was playing for more money. He was also winning a lot more. The gap in star power and earning power remains wide. That will only lure more talented international players to focus their energies in the United States. Again, this is 2002 as it really starts to ramp up and they get houses in Florida. Said Schofield, The dynamics of the two tours are vastly different. There's the corporate environment in America, and it's 25 million golfers that support it. Our base is much smaller over here, and so we need every bit of help we can get. So a little bit of laying the groundwork for what would become very clearly a dominant tour in the PGA Tour. Now we've come back around to sort of this co-sanction era. How do they coexist with one being so very clearly dominant? That's a little mini Flashback Friday. Just thinking about how we'd podcast if guys just decided to share a title in 2025.
I mean, we would go insane.
That jumped out to me. One thing that also jumps out to me is our little sunscreen routine. We got camp this week. We have all 4 kids in camp, outdoor camp. Let me tell you, we didn't have the morning rush all summer, like we would for school where lunches, oh shit, is everybody's packed, all that stuff. Well, it's outdoor, which adds the sunscreen element. Let me tell you, we just run them out in the driveway, grab our Orson Alps spray can, the face, they go boom, boom, boom. It's happened 2 or 3 times where their ride is showing up and they have yet to be sunscreened, let alone have their shoes on. Let me tell you, this is a way to hasten the sunscreen routine, expedite that routine. You go to orsonalps.com, use the promo code SHOTGUN15. That's SHOTGUN15 at orsonalps.com. We're using the hydrating antioxidant sunscreen spray and that Clear Go stick with SPF 50. Even the 12-year-old and 10-year-old just do it themselves now, which is just wonderful. They know how to do the stick. They go. At least we know that's taken care of. It's great. This is a way to spend more time outdoors. Comes in lightweight, non-greasy spray with multiple SPF levels. Travel size as well. I might think about bringing that with me to Ireland. I don't know if I'll need it for Portrush, but we'll see. We have the matte sunscreen stick. Again, a lot of 2 female founders wanted their husbands to enjoy the outdoors without putting a bunch of chemicals on their body. This is orsonalps.com. The promo code is SHOTGUN15. Highly recommend the sunscreen products. All right, should we do a quick golf advice, PJ? Do you have any pulled for us? Or do you want me to jump into the email? I know we've gotten a lot more at SGS Golf Advice.
We have been. I have one I read the other day that I think you guys would have a good take on here.
Please share.
34, 2 kids, no interest in fighting. Brendan gave me a liquid IV at the member guest, and he single-handedly saved my life. Brendan is a hashtag good guy.
Good guy, Brendan Award.
Good guy, Brendan.
I'm here to help. All right.
Here's my question. My member guest is coming up at my home club, and my first guest had to drop out. I have a good friend I am considering asking, but he's a +2 handicap. I am a 9 handicap, so obviously a pretty big disparity there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any good reason I should not invite him?
No.
My potential reasons are admittedly pretty selfish, I think, but I think practical. Him being much better than me may put us into better flights and could result in me being very clearly the worst golfer in all the foursomes we play. And I'm also concerned about me not contributing a whole lot to our team, given his versus my skill level.
Oh,
I also
God.
don't
this
think
is the wrong attitude here.
I don't want people to think the only reason I invited him is because he's a +2. I'm not aware of any spread rules at my member guest for what it's worth. It's very possible I'm overthinking this, but don't want to step into any unknown faux pas that I might not be aware of. I knew you were going to have just
this is like a ridiculous. I feel like
this emailer is a great guy. I remember meeting him at the member guest. Don't go too hard on.
I'm not going to go
please.
hard. I'm going to talk about just a general conception. You know what? Like, nobody knows who's the worst guy in a group. Like, obviously, like it can be clearly obvious. Yeah. But here's the thing: every golfer is so wrapped up in their own golf game that they hardly notice what's going on. My dog is just
chirping,
running amok. My wife just dumps her in here.
All right, that's fine. You're fine.
And it is. Anyways, no golfer really knows what's going on in the group. Everybody's self-conscious about their own game, but the reality is nobody is paying attention to your game. In these member guests, the joys of playing with a +2, and this should be every +2's, like the +2 is just your your anchor.
Yeah.
They're going to make par on almost every hole.
Yeah.
So there's no pressure as the 9. There's none. It's the most beautiful position to be in. Is the job of the 9 is just to like kick in a couple holes a day, make a net birdie, and you've done your job. It is like the best. Like, and as someone who's around that handicap, I love playing with like a 10. I love it. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
Competitive thing, or what do you mean? Or just in general?
I just love they get pops, and they're gonna just make some like net birdies, and like I know, like if I just go out and play my game, like we're gonna be in any match, you know, like I'm gonna make a ton of pars. Like, you know, pars always hard to beat. And if they just make, like, there's no pressure. And the job of the +2 is also to make the 9 or 10 feel comfortable.
Yeah.
If it's an uncomfortable position, your job as a low handicap is to be the encourager, the lifter upper. You always say positive things, and you're just trying to keep the person in the game so that they contribute a couple holes, and then you're gonna win.
This is going to sound incredibly like paternalistic, but it sounds a little bit like when I'm playing, when we have only like 9 guys at my 6th grade basketball practice, and I'm the 10th guy, and I'm just trying to like feed the ball and facilitate and like get kids set up. That's probably like, you also got to play your own game. That's probably simplistic, but yeah, there is a little element of making the 9 comfortable. It sounds like a great guest to invite. You know, great guest to invite. And the problem is when you get the 9 or 10, and you're like, all right, you're popping here. And then they're like, they get on the tee and they're like, this matters. And that's immediately the top or the slice or the hook is when they're getting a pop, and they overemphasize that. So yeah, invite the +2. I'm gonna throw one more. Go to this is from Thomas. Balls found while caddying. 27, male. No interest in fighting. We might have some forthcoming merchandise that builds off this no interest in fighting phenomenon that's taken off here. 27, male, no interest in fighting. In high school and college, I caddied at a course in Southeast Tennessee. The course is notoriously hard, and players often lose many golf balls during the round. Southeast Tennessee, I think I have an idea. When I caddy and I'm looking for players' balls in the tall grass, I often find other balls left behind from other groups. Depending on how bad the golfer is, I sometimes can find up to 10 balls in a round. My question is, who gets to keep the balls that I find? Is it me, the caddy, or do the balls go to the player? More often than not, when I find balls, the guy I'm caddying for will take them out of my hand and say, thank you. Should I be standing my ground and keeping the balls, or just give them to the player? Side note, he coaches a team, and it would be nice to be able to give these balls to the players that I find to players who have trouble affording balls.
What do you think?
You find them. You keep them. What?
You do not give them to the people you're caddying for.
If that guy just grabs them for, like, no. I'm sorry. I will, when I find a ball, I will, and like somebody's lost several, I'll like throw it to him. Like, here's one. You need one here. But like, I voluntarily do that. They're your balls, man. You found them. They're yours now. And it sounds like you're well-intentioned with, giving away to kids you coach that can't maybe afford a bunch of balls. They're absolutely not the player who did not hit or did not possess these balls at the start of the day. They're not like his anymore. You found them. They're yours. It's an easy question. I can't believe this. We have good people out there that are debating these moral quandaries about whether they're theirs or the players.
You keep the balls you find.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not for the people that you're
not even close. Anything else? We good? We want to wrap it there, or you want to read one more? Let's wrap it. I think let's call it a Friday. We're going to do.
You gotta get on a plane.
We're gonna have our live Portrush preview show next week at
What time,
4
4
Eastern.
Eastern
Okay.
on Tuesday.
Guys,
We're gonna be
guys
live
are
on
jamming
YouTube.
me from media day. You know, you guys
for
are
you.
I don't like this narrative. We had a
Jamming
whole
for
discussion,
you.
and now he's
Taking
playing
me
the world's
away
smallest
from
violin. This
playing
is
golf.
A
You know?
golf course you've played before, I'm sure. But you'll be playing Wednesday at another good golf course. So I just wouldn't worry about that.
Jamming me from the media day circuit.
That's just. You know what I'm sad about? I had to miss Caves Valley Media Day.
You did.
Smallest violin. I'm really sad about that. But 4 p.m.
I saw Rockville's own was at
Yeah.
Case Valley Media Day.
Denny Mac. All right, 4 Eastern.
4 Eastern, Tuesday.
Live on YouTube, 1
Maybe.
Pacific, 9 p.m. Port Rush time.
Hopefully.
If your internet holds up.
If you have internet in the country of Northern Ireland.
We'll see. It's going to be hit and go, touch and go, hit or miss.
Could just be me and PJ breaking it down.
That's fine. Maybe I'll call in, speaking of Caves Valley, just shout into the other line. But yeah, we got that. So 4 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday, YouTube. We'll put up the link. Hit the ding,
link will be up by the time
reminder
you're watching
bell.
this. Yeah.
Right?
Hit the
You can
bell.
hit that.
Smash that like button.
Before that, we'll have a Monday show from, recapping Scotland and ESCO Championship. I don't know where I'll be at that point recording that one. Maybe on the road again, driving through Ireland and recording Sunday night like we did before in a prior last year. All right.
You know, I just realized.
What'd you
Who's
realize?
on the mound for the Cubs today?
Oh, God.
God.
Who?
Is it Colin Rea?
Don Reyes' kid.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew that's where you were going. You're so predictable. So predictable.
God, they don't talk enough about him being the son of an umpire.
God.
That's how he got into the game.
So predictable.
Hey,
I can't believe I walked right into that.
That guy for the Guardians last year, he made the All-Star team. Boyd?
Yeah,
that
Boyd. Oh, yeah.
He was like just sort of this journeyman. He's cooking.
He picked up like 4 miles an hour on his fastball.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
At age 34.
Yeah. He's good. It's good. All right.
It's kind of like Adam Scott with the driver.
That's true. Hey.
I think that's the first ever Matt Boyd, Adam Scott comp.
Oh,
on the heels of John Bradley to Shadur Sanders yesterday. And we're breaking them out. That's it.
Did you
go to the
CBS
YouTube
YouTube Adam Scott
page.
is on the FedEx Cup points?
I don't know if I want to know because it's going to make me sad.
Who is it?
Adam Scott.
Yeah, he's like 87th or something.
85.
Yeah.
It's actually better than I would have thought. U.S. Open's really floating that.
Well, he did finish 12th. It wasn't a good finish.
It wasn't great.
But how many times have you been above 12 the rest of the year?
Go to the YouTube page of CBS if you want to figure out how we could compare JB Holmes to Shadur Sanders yesterday. If you want to see that one. All right. Keep an eye on, go to the YouTube page, watch a Port Rush video. We have a lot of good Port Rush content on social, on the writing, newsletter. Joseph and I will be over there. We will have daily pods coming next week. Thank you all for your Andy's got his usual 5 things about a major coming on the Fried Egg Pod. Those are very popular, very enjoyable. You got a special guest coming in for that one. I'll leave it, for you folks to figure that out later. But a great guest coming for that preview pod on Sunday morning. Going to be an awesome week. We will talk to you on Sunday night or Monday morning.